All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through how to configure a video wall. As you can see, I've already created a room here in Velocity called Video Wall. In my video wall room, I have added two dual channel encoders and two dual channel decoders. We are creating a 2x2 video wall configuration that has four sources, four media players as our sources. So obviously we need four inputs or two dual channel encoders and four displays, so two dual channel decoders. As far as displays are concerned, I have added in all of my displays for this particular system, and I've labeled them strategically for where these displays are going to be placed in our video wall configuration. So bottom left, bottom right, top left, and top right. I've added media players. I am going to use those as my sources, and I've also added my Velocity video wall configuration driver, which is going to be our configuration tool. So to start our configuration, we're going to hit the edit button of this video wall configuration driver here, that little pencil button. So I'll click that, and that opens my video wall configuration tool. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to create our display pixel space. On the left-hand side here, you can see that I have my four displays that have populated, and I'm just going to drag and drop these displays in into the configuration that they would be laid out. So when I drag and drop this, I get my display here, and I can position my top left on the top left there, top right next. Bottom left, and then bottom right as well. Once I've dragged and dropped these in, you can see that the positioning on these is a little messed up. It didn't snap into place perfectly. So what I'm going to do to make sure that that's perfect, I'm going to use our auto arrange function here. So when I click this, I can auto arrange up to a 5x5 configuration. I'm just going to auto arrange in a 2x2 configuration because that's exactly what I need. And then it perfectly creates my 4K out of 1080p monitor video walls. You can see that my position is exactly 1920 pixels here, and then down here my start position is exactly 1920 by 1080, which is going to be right at the edge of this top left display as well. So once I've locked all that down, if I wanted to go ahead and go in and do all of my bezel compensation, that can be done on each individual monitor here by clicking the edit button and going into the bezel compensation tab here, enabling that, and then doing my bezel compensation on all sides. I'm not going to be showing that today, so I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Once we're done with this is just a set and forget function, so I can go ahead and hit the lock button here to lock my displays down. All that does is it doesn't allow me now to select these and drag them around. So the next step is going to be, well, first of all, saving this. So we'll go ahead and click our save button. And then I can click my edit presets button here, and it's going to ask me to create a new preset. So we're going to go ahead and call this preset source 1. And on my source 1 preset, I would like for that to just be essentially source 1 across all displays. Now first, so that this is a live configuration, I'm going to go ahead into my save options here and turn on auto save changes so that anytime I make a change it auto saves that. I'm also going to auto apply my preset on save, meaning it's going to go ahead and push that, making this a fully live configuration. And you'll see that my video wall went ahead and went blank because on my live configuration here I haven't added any sources. So again, to add source 1 to the screen, I want to go ahead and drag and drop in source 1, and you're going to see that populate in the top left hand corner of my screen there. So you see source 1 populate, and then I drag and drop this over the middle of all four of these displays, and it's going to snap to all four immediately, which is going to give me my 4 video wall configuration there. So once that populates, I can then go in and create more presets by using the add button here. So let's go ahead and create a couple more. So let's make one called source 2. Let's make one called source 3. Source 4. And one last preset called custom. So if I go back to source 1, obviously source 1 stretched to all 4 displays. Make sure that comes up. Scroll down to source 2. Let me highlight this, and I'll bring source 2 in and go ahead and drag and drop that to all 4 displays, which should go ahead and populate on all 4. Then we'll come down to source 3, drag and drop this to all 4. Make sure that comes up live. And then we will go down to source 4 and drag source 4 into all 4 displays. And for our custom configuration here, let's do something a little more funky. Let's put source 1 on the top and source 4 on the bottom there, so that we have one thing going on the top and one thing going on the bottom. And cool. So then we can save these presets, and well, those have already saved because we have our autosave feature turned on. Now that those presets are saved, source 1, source 2, source 3, source 4, and custom, we have the ability to recall these as a macro. So if I exit out of my video wall configuration software here and scroll up and go to my room control options, I can go into macros, for example, and create a macro here. And we'll call this new macro source 1. Click the plus button here to add a command. And under this command, I'm going to drop this down, and my device is going to be my Velocity video wall. And the command is going to be run preset. And here, if I drop down my preset name, you can see that it gives me the ability to select one of the presets. So I'm going to go ahead and select source 1 because that's what this macro is going to be. And I'm going to save that. So now, whenever I visit my control page for this particular configuration, if I hit Start Room, I have all of my sources and all of my displays, so I have the ability to drag and drop sources to individual displays if I want for standard routing. Or if I want to enter a specific video wall mode, I can go to my room macros and click on my macro that I just added. And when I click on my macro that I just added, it's going to take my source 1, it's going to stretch it across all screens. So that's how easy configuring video wall for Atlona's Velocity is. Let us know if you have questions.